The heat is cranking back up today, plus a chance for some isolated storms. Who could see that rain and when to expect better rain chances this weekend?
Much needed moisture. This week's rain is having an effect on lake levels in the Triangle. What a report due out this morning is expected to show about our ongoing drought.
Security camera access. The Wake County Sheriff's Office wants your help to keep communities safer. The new program that's asking you to share your surveillance video.
We're following those stories as well as your morning commute. WRAL News at 8 on Fox 50 starts in about 30 seconds.
Now be careful with Hardee's new hot honey. You'll get lost in that made-from-scratch hot honey chicken biscuit. Right now, get the hot honey chicken biscuit or any chicken biscuit for just $3.99. Only at Hardee's.
What's up, Bubba?
Hey, Brad.
Did we win something?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Partner with some chicken.
Yeah.
Right now on the app, My Rewards members get the Bubba Wallace Full Throttle Tenders Meal with a collectible Hardee's card.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
It's 8 a.m. here on your, what day is it?
It is Thursday.
Friday Eve. We made it to Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. Thank you so much. So listen, another hot day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not as stormy later on this afternoon. So let's get over to meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
Chris did the same thing this morning. It's like, what? It's the heat. The heat's really getting to us.
Yeah, they all merged together.
I know. And more heat today. Not as hot as some of the days we've had over the past couple of weeks. Like we hit, not going to hit 103 like we did on the 4th, but still going to be hot. Highs reach the mid 90s. Some spots jump into the upper 90s. It's even hotter tomorrow, though, and then temperatures finally will start to cool off this weekend. Here's a view from Pinehurst this morning. People getting in the Gulf early today. That's the best bet for you. Get it in earlier in the day, especially towards the Sandhills, because it will be hotter this afternoon. We're in the 70s. They're close to 80 degrees now. 81 Southern Pines, 81 Fayetteville, 77 South Hill, 76 in Rocky Mount, and dew points are also in the 70s, so it's humid. Cumberland, Sampson counties both under a heat advisory today. Could see more spots under a heat advisory tomorrow. I'll let you know how hot we'll get Friday. Plus, we'll talk about the weekend rain chances coming up. Ken?
Hey, Grant, checking your morning commute here at the 8 o'clock hour. Let's start with I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. Boy, those westbound lanes heavily congested. And this is what we see this time of the morning on that southern loop of the Beltline. Right now, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. The bulk of the delay really between the Lake Wheeler Road exit and the Gorman Street exit. Once you get past the Gorman Street exit, it's clear sailing all the way over to Cary. Similarly, that northern loop of the Beltline, the bulk of the congestion is between Capitol Boulevard and the I-87 440 interchange. And once you get past Capitol Boulevard, you're looking at a clear sail all the way to your destination there at Wade Avenue. It's an 8-minute delay. Congestion really picking up on I-87 this morning as we look live at I-87 at the Smithfield Road exit. Right now, you're looking at a 5-minute delay coming in from Nightdale. Fenton Wake Forest, you're looking at a 6-minute delay coming in from US 1 North. But all the other routes, I-40 westbound, I-40 eastbound, you're coming in out of Apex, delay free right now. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. The driver of a car that overturned early this morning on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh is suspected of driving while intoxicated. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on that scene near Blue Ridge Road after 1:30 this morning. Crews quickly turned the car right side up and put it on a tow truck. Raleigh police say the driver has minor injuries. Well, dry conditions persist for our entire area, with some under the highest level of drought. You can see there on the map. Today, we expect new drought data that will reflect recent rainfall. WRAL's Kirsten Clark is at Falls Lake for us this morning, where lake levels are up. And Kirsten, we can learn that new information in the next hour here, but it's nowhere near enough to get out of this drought with that recent rain.
Yes, Laura, it was a sigh of relief for so many of us when we finally saw the rain over the past few days. And I'm sure a sigh of relief for the lake as well. If you take a look here, you can see levels are still not where they're supposed to be. You can see the shoreline here. Again, that water is supposed to be much higher. But because of the recent rain, levels here at Falls Lake actually increased for the first time in months by 6 inches. It's progress, but still just not enough. Now take a look at this view of Falls Lake from Sky 5. You can see much of the lake bed is dry and exposed, and the lake is still roughly 6 feet below its normal level and about 10 feet lower than it was this time last year. Falls Lake is the primary drinking water source for Raleigh, and the Raleigh City Council approved changes that will allow the city to move into stage 2 water restrictions sooner than planned. Raleigh City Council member Mitch Silver says it's not far-fetched if water use is not reduced.
The trend is that people are using, we did okay April and May. We did not do so well between May and June. So water usage is trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, so you see there's definitely a sense of urgency there. The new drought monitor should be out soon, and we, of course, will keep you updated with any new information that we find out from that drought monitor. It's expected to show us conditions through this Tuesday. Live at Falls Lake, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Well, you know, last night's storms left behind some serious damage. We fielded a number of reports about fires and downed trees all across Wake County. In Cary, homeowners in Lockmere say the power of that storm was actually unexpected.
Well, it was certainly blowing like mad. The rain was coming down almost horizontally out here on Countryside Lane. We had big swirls of water.
Yeah, the town of Cary says other downed trees took out power lines and covered some roadways. In Raleigh, 2 homes caught fire after lightning strikes. This was the scene on Althorpe Drive. It took fire crews about 10 minutes to put out that fire at that first home and another 20 or so at the next house over. No one was injured in either fire, though. Neighbors at one fire say they worked together to rescue the family from one of the burning homes.
My neighbor behind me actually saw the flames, drew his car over, and ran in there to get them out. So thankfully they were they got out safely, and even by the time I made it out here and he was escorting them out of the house, the fire department showed up, so they were super quick.
Well, you know, as summer storms are forecasted, make sure you have the WRAL weather app downloaded. That way you can know the same information our meteorologists know and be prepared for them.
The Wake County Sheriff's Office is now asking for your commitment to help them solve crimes. They're launching a new program that allows residents to register their home security cameras with the agency. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the Sheriff's Office for us following this story. And Kelsey, they say this registry would not give them access without your permission.
Yes, Laura, tonight you can learn more about the new Connect Wake program. So now you'll be able to give the Wake County Sheriff's Office access to your security camera at your house if there's a crime that happens in your neighborhood. The goal of this is to help deputies track down suspects faster. So you can sign up to add your address to a database that tells deputies that you have a security camera at your home. That means if a crime happens in your area, deputies can contact you and request the footage. Raleigh and Fayetteville Police already have similar programs. Sasha Godwin with the Wake County Sheriff's Office says the program will be audited regularly to make sure your privacy is protected and your footage will only be used with your permission.
All the business or resident is providing to us is that the location of their address, how many cameras they may have, whether they are interior or exterior, and then we will reach out. That's it. That's all it is.
It was live.
You can learn more about this new Connect Wake program tonight at 6 o'clock at the Wake County Northern Regional Center. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
New this morning, President Trump says the U.S. launched missile strikes on Iran. He said this in response to attacks on commercial ships this week. Iran is retaliating with attacks on U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Iranian leadership says 2 days of American airstrikes killed at least 14 people and wounded 78 others. The new military operation started hours after President Trump said the ceasefire was over. Iranian state media reporting explosions in some cities. President Trump spoke about the strikes on Air Force One overnight.
We just hit them very hard, and I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20. And we did it last night.
The president was returning to Washington, D.C. from the NATO summit in Turkey.
Rocky Mount residents can rest assured they were not double billed for their utilities. That's because of a new report released by the state auditor's office. It also determined the billing system was broken and 2 elected officials did not pay their bills for months. State Auditor Dave Bullock announced that an audit found Rocky Mount's utility billing schedule was off for months. The report found bills were being printed sometimes up to 30 days after utility meter readings. When the issue was corrected, utility customers received back-to-back bills.
They didn't double bill customers. What they did, however, do is execute this in a very, for lack of a better term, a clumsy fashion that led to a lot of the public not having confidence in what was going on with respect to the utilities in Rocky Mount.
The audit also showed 2 council members with unpaid bills. WRAL spoke with both council members TJ Walker and Charles Robertson. They both said they had similar concerns about being double billed, which is why they hadn't paid their own bills until this report came out. Well, a treat now for early risers this morning in North Carolina. A SpaceX launch was visible just after 5:30 this morning here. And because of the timing just before sunrise, the sun's beams were low enough and spread wide enough to illuminate the vapor trail. We have been seeing some of your photos come through the WRAL.com/reported section. We have a full gallery right now on WRAL.com. The rocket launch was visible over downtown Raleigh as well. WRAL photojournalist Michael Joyner got this video over Dix Park and downtown Raleigh. This launch deployed 29 Starlink satellites. It was the 36th launch of the Falcon 9 rocket.
Time now 8:11. Jail takeover update. Remember that jail where the inmates overpowered staff last week in eastern North Carolina? Well, the state is now charging the jail to house its former inmates. We'll explain how much that's costing that jail.
Plus, mosquitoes multiplying. Recent rain may lead to a surge of new mosquitoes. How you can prevent them from laying eggs near your home.
And hotter today and through Friday, then temperatures finally cool off to start next week. Looking long term, temperatures not trending as high above average. I'll let you know how hot we'll be by the middle of next week, and we'll also talk about how much will cool off by Sunday. That's coming up. .14 on this Thursday morning, already in the 80s in some spots. Fayetteville's at 81, Southern Pines is at 81, Durham's at 77, it's 74 in Sanford, 79 in Clinton. Lots of sunshine to start the day, but there's some spots with some extra clouds and also maybe some patchy fog. A nice start in Boone, though, if you're headed towards the mountains this weekend. Temperatures will eventually cool off, but for now, we're still quite warm. Today, temperatures in the 80s, some spots in the mid to upper 80s with some isolated storms. A better chance for scattered storms into our Friday across all the mountains. Temperatures a bit cooler in Boone in the upper 70s, even cooler this weekend. We'll talk more about the rain chances here into this weekend, plus how much will cool off by Sunday. Coming up, Ken?
Grand weather and traffic every 10 minutes, so we've got you covered with this view of I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Boy, those of you are familiar with this congestion that we see this time of the morning on that section of the Beltline. So we widen out the view. Right now, you're looking at a 7-minute delay between the 440 interchange all the way over to US 1. The bulk of the delay really is between Lake Wheeler Road exit and Gorman Street exit. I'll have another update in about 10 minutes.
Ken, thank you. New this morning, singer Bonnie Tyler has died. Tyler, who topped the charts with Total Eclipse of the Heart in the 1980s, died in a hospital in Portugal, according to her family. She was hospitalized in May for emergency intestinal surgery and was later placed in an induced coma. She was 75.
The state prison system is charging the Bertie Martin County Regional Jail thousands of dollars. Last week, inmates took over that jail. After law enforcement regained control, the inmates were moved to state prisons. The Department of Adult Correction says that department is charging the jail $40 a day for housing each prisoner. That comes to about $3,000 per day. No word on when the jail will reopen.
After a woman he dated accused him of sexual assault, Democrat Graham Plattner ended his campaign for U.S. Senate in Maine. Plattner denies the allegations the woman says happened in 2021. He has also received criticism for an ode tattoo with Nazi symbols. Plus, there have been reports of sexually explicit messages sent to some women early in his marriage. The Maine Democratic Party has until July 27th to pick a new nominee. That candidate will go up against incumbent Republican Susan Collins in November.
North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson announcing a $165 million settlement with Block, the company that owns Cash App. According to Attorney General Jackson, the company misrepresented the app's safety and made fraud easier. Block is required to distribute between $75 to $120 million to consumers nationwide. It must also pay nearly $1 million to North Carolina.
China, Russia, and other hostile foreign nations are now banned from buying farmland and other property in North Carolina. Governor Josh Stein signed the policy into law. State lawmakers haven't identified instances of these nations actually buying up land in our state, but they said it's best to act now before it becomes an issue later.
Well, today, airport in Palm Beach, Florida, officially renamed President Donald J. Trump International Airport. Signs of the airport now show the new name. The three-letter airport designation will switch from PBI to DJT next month. Now, in a statement, the airport acknowledging the transition may be met with mixed reactions.
More than $1 million will be used to restore a Wake County creek. Congresswoman Deborah Ross represented and presented Kerry with a check for that federal funding. It's for the Walnut Creek Stabilization and Restoration Project. The project is meant to improve water quality, critical infrastructure, and strengthen the watershed.
The town of Morrisville is looking for local and regional artists for its next public art project. They're looking for designs for 4-foot fiberglass butterfly sculptures that will be installed throughout the town. The deadline to submit designs is Wednesday, July 15th at 5 p.m. The artist pick will get an award funded by the United Arts of Wake County.
The new plush for the Zebulon Police Department's K9 Coda is now available for purchase. This is Coda, and you can see the plush sitting right next to him. The North Carolina Police K9 Foundation is selling them. The community chose Coda over more than a dozen other canines in the state, and you can get a plush on the organization's website.
Well, you know, the recent rain has not been enough to get us out of this drought situation, as Kirsten Clark pointed out earlier, but it is enough to help mosquitoes make a big comeback. Mosquitoes need rain and standing water to reproduce. Experts say mosquito populations are not tracked specifically, but it's likely there have been fewer so far this summer. With this week's rain, that could change.
There's typically a delay that we see with that, sometimes about 2 weeks between when we get rain, the mosquitoes lay their eggs, and then about 2 weeks later, we see the mosquitoes emerge. So I would expect with the recent rainfall, we may have some tough days ahead.
Health officials say you can limit opportunities for mosquitoes to multiply by getting rid of standing water around your home. That includes in bird baths, flower pots, and gutters.
All right, checking back in with meteorologist Grant Skinner. It's been a loudy week with those evening storms rolling through. I think Tuesday night I was cooking, Grant, and all of a sudden it was like doom, 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 you know, with the thunderstorms.
And yesterday, the storm kind of like warped around where I live. Like I live right off of Glenwood, close to 440. And so like, it was like, it kind of like looped right around it. But all the storms were kind of passing to my south and eventually north and east. Some of the lightning I could hear off of it.
Yes.
I want to start with this photo. This was just sent in a little bit ago from one of the storms yesterday, and you can see the tree kind of snapped from some of those strong winds, possibly from lightning.
Yes.
Again, that's what we've seen the past few days. So those stronger storms producing strong wind gusts, also hail at times, a lot of lightning. Not as high of a storm chance today, though. But the storm chances do return this weekend, so we'll talk more about that. Again, this was from Kelly out of Cary, so thanks for sharing this with us. To report it, that's on WRAL.com. We'd love to see all your photos. We got a lot from SpaceX this morning as well, so keep sharing those. Also, some decent rainfall totals, as much as 3 inches to the south towards the Sandhills over parts of Sampson County. Lee and Johnston County seeing as high as 1 to an inch to an inch and a half, maybe some higher amounts. So again, spotty areas with some heavier rain, some not so much. It's kind of how the past few days have been. In Southern Pines this morning, now it's a lot quieter. Temperatures are mild to start the day. A lot of blue sky, though. Folks trying to get in the morning rounds of golf because it's going to be hot this afternoon. We're at around 80 in some spots already, mid to upper 70s for others. This afternoon, we climbed to the mid 90s. Some spots climbed to the upper 90s. So we have a heat advisory in place for Sampson and also Cumberland counties and areas towards the coastline. Heat index values peaking around 105 degrees. So hot this afternoon. Better storm chances this weekend, up to 60% Saturday, 50% Sunday, cooling into the mid 80s to start next week.
All right. happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Here's what we're looking at in terms of I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. That westbound lanes really getting jammed up this morning. And we expect that this time of the morning. Here's what we're looking at in terms of delay. We've been sitting on a 7-minute delay for the longest while now. So things are beginning to ease up a little bit. And I'll keep an eye on that for you just to be on the safe side. Now, that northern loop of the Beltline, similarly, we're seeing a little bit of jam session, particularly between Capitol Boulevard and the I-87 440 interchange. And once you get past Capitol Boulevard, it's really clear sailing. But right now, you're looking at a 9-minute delay all the way over to the Beltline. Now, let's widen out the view and let you know what other routes are, what we're seeing on other routes. 3-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, but all the other major routes are relatively delay-free at this hour. Just a 1-minute delay coming in from Nightdale. Similarly, if you're coming east on I-40, just 1 minute. Good folks down there at Apex, you're coming north on US 1, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay. Again, here's that the congestion there on that southern loop of the Beltline. As for heading over to Durham, we're seeing very little to no delays whatsoever. If you're coming in from Roxborough on 501, you're just looking at a 1-minute delay. Similarly, if you're coming on Wade Avenue westbound, you're just looking at a 1-minute delay. And for those of you in Wake Forest using Highway 98 to get to Durham, just a 1-minute delay as well at this hour.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Still ahead now, tracking dry conditions. Today, we expect new information about the ongoing drought, why recent rain likely won't have a massive impact. Plus, the most scammed zip codes, a look into where scams come from and who's falling for them. Coming up, 5 on your side breaks it all down and which Triangle neighborhoods are most likely to be deceived.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning, everyone. The time is 8:26 here on your Thursday morning. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Grant Skinner with a look at the forecast. And Grant, we have another hot day.
Yeah, hotter today. Highs reach the mid-90s. Some spots can reach into the upper 90s this afternoon. Heat index values pushing even higher, just over 100 degrees for some spots. We have a heat advisory in place for Cumberland and Sampson counties for heat index values peaking at around 105 degrees. So drink plenty of water, take breaks in the AC whenever possible across the entire area. Still going to be very hot, even in spots that don't see that intense heat. Temperatures finally cool off to start next week with lower rain chances after more scattered storms this weekend. Ken?
All right, Grant, let's take a spin around the Beltline, shall we? So you take a look at I-440, New Bern Avenue, the northern loop of the Beltline. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us right now and getting really jammed up. Right now, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. The bulk of the congestion between Capitol Boulevard and the 87 440 interchange. But once you get past Capitol Boulevard, it's clear sailing. On that southern loop of the Beltline, things are getting better. This was up to about a 7-minute delay just now. Right now, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay at this hour. Another update at the bottom of the hour.
The driver of a car that overturned early this morning on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh is suspected of driving while intoxicated. This happened near Blue Ridge Road after 1:30 this morning. Raleigh police say the driver has minor injuries. Starting today, you can opt in to giving the Wake County Sheriff's Office access to your security camera. You can sign up to a join database that tells deputies that you have a security camera at your home. Then if a crime happens in your area, deputies can contact you to request the footage. Coming up next on Fox 50 now, 5 on your side breaks down which part of the triangle are most likely to fall for scams.
The heat is cranking back up today, plus a chance for some isolated storms. Who could see that rain and when to expect better rain chances this weekend?
Much needed moisture. This week's rain is having an effect on lake levels in the Triangle. What a report due out this morning is expected to show about our ongoing drought.
Security camera access. The Wake County Sheriff's Office wants your help to keep communities safer. The new program that's asking you to share your surveillance video.
Yeah, lots to get to here in the 8:30 hour. We so appreciate your time. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. And we actually have a nice skyline behind us compared to the last few days where we had those cloudy skies. Meteorologist Grant Skinner also has some nice views there over Pinehurst. Very busy there, Grant.
Yeah, good to get the morning rounds in because it's going to be hot this afternoon, hotter than yesterday. And lower storm chances today as well, but some better rain chances do arrive this weekend. So we'll talk more about that coming up in a bit. Again, a lot of folks out there right now, plenty of blue sky, and it's comfortable this morning-ish. It is a bit humid out there. Temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s. Some spots still in the low 70s up towards Roxborough. We're at 73, 81 in Fayetteville and in Southern Pines, 80 in Goldsboro, 78 degrees in Rocky Mount. Dew points, though, are in the 70s, so it is a bit muggy out there. By this afternoon, we'll reach the mid-90s. Some spots could reach into the upper 90s. Heat index values a bit higher, so make sure you're staying hydrated. We'll talk more about a heat advisory in place for a couple of counties, plus when to expect those storm chances through this weekend. That's coming up. Ken?
All right, Grant, at 8:31, you're getting ready to grab the keys, heading out the door. Maybe the northern loop of the Beltline is part of your morning commute. I-440 to New Bern Avenue, the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So things are actually getting a little better on that northern loop of the Beltline. Right now, it's about 7-minute delay. It was up to 9 minutes the last half hour, so things are getting better. We're seeing the bulk of the congestion around the Glenwood Avenue, Six Forks Road, Capitol Boulevard exits, but, 7 minutes, not necessarily going to make you late this morning. As for that southern loop of the Beltline, things are getting better here as well. Just a 6-minute delay if you're navigating that southern loop of the Beltline between the I-40, 440 interchange all the way over to Wade Avenue. Elsewhere, you're coming in on US 1 from Wake Forest. You're looking at a 4-minute delay for your friends in Wake in Apex coming north on US 1. You're looking at a 4-minute delay as well. But all the other major routes, I-40 east and westbound, just a 1-minute delay. And if you're coming in from the Nightdale area on I-87, just a 1-minute delay as well. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. The driver of a car that overturned early this morning on Glenwood Avenue is suspected of DWI. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on that scene near Blue Ridge Road after 1:30 this morning. Crews quickly turned the car back over and put it on a tow truck. Raleigh police say the driver has minor injuries. Today, we're expecting an update on the drought conditions in our state. As you're looking at this map here, you can see there's a look at those current conditions. And much of our area is in an extreme drought. A smaller area is classified as being in exceptional drought. Some areas will see improvement after recent rain, including Falls Lake. And that's where WRAL's Kirsten Clark is live this morning. Kirsten, lake levels are up because of the rain, but we still need a lot more, of course, to end the drought.
That we do, Laura. It was a huge sigh of relief for so many of us when we finally saw some steady rain over the last few days, and a sigh of relief, I'm sure, for the lake, too. If you take a look here, levels are not where they need to be here at Falls Lake. You can especially see it on the shore. But because of the recent rain, we did see levels increase for the first time in months by 6 inches. It's progress, but still just not enough. Now, take a look at this view of Falls Lake from Sky 5. You can see much of the lake bed is dry and exposed, and despite the rainfall, the lake is still roughly 6 feet below its normal level and about 10 feet lower than it was this time last year. Falls Lake is the primary drinking water source for Raleigh, and the Raleigh City Council approved changes that will allow the city to move into Stage 2 water restrictions sooner than planned. Raleigh City Council member Mitch Silver says it's not far-fetched if water use is not reduced.
We are heading into a very dangerous situation. We're already in an exceptional drought, and we need to listen. Water usage was trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, so you can hear the sense of urgency in his voice there. Actually, just probably within minutes, we've seen the new drought monitor come out. I've got it here on my phone, so we'll take a second to take a look at that and give you more information when we have it and when we learn more about this drought, about the current conditions up through this Tuesday. So we'll have that for you in just a bit. But for now, live at Falls Lake, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And meteorologist Grant Skinner is also taking a close look at that drought monitor. So we'll keep you updated on the new information and an update to explain how rain has affected those current drought conditions. Follow along on the WRAL News app and in our evening newscast starting at 4 p.m.
Well, despite working to improve drought conditions, storms yesterday evening left behind serious damage. There were reports of fires and downed trees all across Wake County. In Holly Springs, fire crews responded to a home on Thorndale Drive after a lightning strike. Fire crews say the lightning caused electrical concerns. We're working to learn more about this incident. In Raleigh, a downed tree landed on an apartment building. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this scene off Avon Ferry Road. You can see the area taped off and a unit there with the roof caved in. Some of the damage also landed on residents' cars. This happened just before 7 last night. Fortunately, nobody was hurt here in this situation. You know, with the strong summer storms that can pop up quickly, it's important to stay in the know. Download the WRAL weather app and turn on those notifications for customized weather alerts where you live.
Well, check this out. A sweet treat for early risers this morning in North Carolina. A SpaceX launch was visible just after 5:30 this morning. Because of the timing just before sunrise, the sun's beams were low enough and spread wide enough to illuminate the vapor trail. We have been seeing your photos come through on WRAL.com/reported. We have a full gallery on WRAL.com. The rocket launch was visible over downtown Raleigh as well. WRAL photojournalist Michael Joyner got this video over Dix Park in downtown Raleigh. This launch deployed 29 Starlink satellites. It was the 36th launch of the Falcon 9 rocket.
The Wake County Sheriff's Office is launching a new program that it says will help solve crimes and keep communities safer, and it involves your home security cameras. Let's get right to WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live outside the Sheriff's Office this morning. And Kelsey, the Sheriff's Office says this registry would not give them access without their people's permission, right?
Yes, Ken, tonight folks can learn more about the new Connect Wake program. Now you can opt into giving the Wake County Sheriff's Office access to your home security camera if a crime happens in your neighborhood. The agency says this could help them track down suspects much faster. You can sign up to add your address to a database that tells deputies you have a security camera at your home. That means if a crime happens in your area, deputies can contact you and request the footage. Raleigh and Fayetteville police already have similar programs. Sasha Godwin with the Wake County Sheriff's Office says the program will be audited regularly to make sure your privacy is protected and your footage will only be used with your permission.
You're not providing us with your camera footage in live action or any of those things. It's just telling us where your camera is, and then we'll reach out and ask you if you want to share it. You go into your camera program, you download the footage, and then you share that back with us. At no point do we access your information.
You can learn more about Connect Wake tonight at 6 o'clock at the Wake County Northern Regional Center. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
U.S. military released video this morning after it launched heavy strikes on Iran. Now, in response, Iran attacking U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. U.S. military leaders say they targeted 90 Iranian military sites. Those targets include air defense systems, missile and drone facilities, and coastal surveillance assets. Iranian leadership says 2 days of U.S. strikes killed at least 14 people and wounded 78 others. The strikes happened just hours after President Trump said the ceasefire was over.
Now to a new report from the state auditor's office, which confirms people in Rocky Mount were not double billed for their utilities. The audit found Rocky Mount's utility billing schedule was off for months. The report found bills were being printed sometimes up to 30 days after utility meter readings. When the issue was corrected, utility customers received back-to-back bills. The report also determined 2 elected officials did not pay $30,000 worth of bills for months.
Those bills were paid, but they were only paid after a draft of our audit report hit the desk of the city manager in Rocky Mount. So, we're here to hold government accountable at all levels. That's an example of accountability.
WRAL spoke with the council members, TJ Walker and Charles Robertson. They said they had similar concerns about being double billed and claims that's why they didn't pay their bill until the report came out.
At last check, the woman charged in connection with an apartment fire that killed a child bonded out after her first court appearance. Brittany Armstrong faces 3 charges connected to the 4th of July fire that killed 7-year-old Kashmir Parker. It happened at an apartment complex in Dunn. Investigators say the fire was likely caused by illegal fireworks. Armstrong's bond remains unchanged at $75,000. She's due back in court later this month.
Cumberland County and Fayetteville have approved a plan to create a unified 911 center. Now officials say the move will improve coordination between first responders. A formal agreement is expected to be finalized over the next 60 days.
Well, today, the 2026 FIFA World Cup is back in action. The quarterfinals get started today with France and Morocco facing off at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Spain and Belgium play tomorrow, and there are 2 games on Saturday. You can watch all that action right here on Fox 15. Well, coming up, changing ticket rules, long waits, high resale prices, and bot concerns. The new protections outlined in North Carolina's budget.
Plus, zips at risk. 5 on Your Side maps out the Triangle's biggest scam hotspots to see if your zip code made the list and shares how to avoid being the next victim. Grant?
Yeah, the latest drought monitor came out just moments ago. Wanted to show that latest map to you. There are some small improvements for a few spots, but most areas are seeing worsening conditions. We'll break this down in more detail, plus talk about when to expect better rain chances through this weekend. That's coming up. Just before 8:45 on this Thursday morning, look at the coastline, Carolina Beach. It's not as hot this morning, but it will be very hot this afternoon. Plenty of blue sky. Get in some time at the beach earlier because highs are at close to 100 degrees towards Wilmington. Also a high risk for rip currents at a couple of our local beaches, so make sure to watch those local beach flags. When those red flags are flying, please refrain from getting into the water because dangerous rip currents are likely. Even with a moderate risk for rip currents, you can still have rip currents, and with low risk as well. So just watch the local beach flags and be very careful if you're headed to the coastline through the start of this weekend. Temperatures in the 90s for most spots today, but some spots close to 100, even hotter tomorrow. We'll talk more about when temperatures finally cool off. Plus, we'll talk about how much rain we could see through this weekend coming up. Ken?
All right, Grant, we're staying on top of the heavy congestion that we see this time of the morning at I-40 around the Lake Wheeler Road exit. You can see those westbound lanes moving away from us, really jammed up this morning. But, moving albeit at a slow, steady clip. Right now, you're looking at a 5-minute delay. Things are getting a little better, actually, because the bulk of the delay is between Lake Wheeler Road and Gorman Street. As we widen out the viewer look, picking up some delays coming in at I-87 from Knightdale, you're looking at an 8-minute delay. Just a 5-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, and just a 3-minute delay for our friends in Apex coming north on US 1 at this hour.
Ken, thank you. So how often are your neighbors getting scammed? Well, 5 on Your Side always bring you consumer stories, warnings, and alerts. But where do scams actually come from and who falls for them? 5 on Your Side's Alex Littlehills dug through the data to find out the Triangle's most scammed zip codes and where your neighborhood ranks.
You always hear us talking about people getting scammed, but have you ever thought, where does it actually come from? Where does it actually happen? Well, we had that question too.
With those sensors not working, the door won't shut.
Matt Clements lost over $1,000 last fall. He was told by contractors he got scammed by a garage door repairman upcharging for labor and parts on what should have been a simple fix. Matt reported his loss to the Better Business Bureau's scam tracker. We looked through that report data for the entire region. We found out residents in Matt's zip code 25787, covering Wake Forest from Falls Lake to Rollsville, was the zip code that most frequently reported scams to the BBB. 45 reports in 2025. So we wondered what other neighborhoods had a high number of these reports. Tonight at 6, WRAL shows you if your neighborhood made the list and whether we're on pace to break 2025's numbers. Alex Littlehales, 5 on Your Side.
Big concert or Carolina Hurricanes game could soon become a lot more transparent. A new law tucked into North Carolina's new state budget cracks down on hidden fees, ticket bots, and deceptive resale practices. The change would require sellers to show the full ticket price upfront and clearly identify resale tickets. It also bans speculative sales when tickets are listed before the seller actually has them. Restrictions on ticket buying bots was also placed into this law. Now, for families, lawmakers say the goal is to make sure fans have a real shot at getting affordable tickets.
Someone to, just kind of take that experience, away from them. It's definitely highly, highly unfortunate. So I definitely think that should be regulated because it's just not right.
Well, keep in mind, this law takes effect October 1st.
A first look now at part 3 of the Dune saga. Plus, a veteran actor receives a Lifetime Achievement Award. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
The official trailer is out for Dune Part 3, the conclusion of the science fiction trilogy starring Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya from director Denis Villeneuve arrives in IMAX and other theaters December 18th.
I was like, I feel good. I feel cool right now until
Moana star Dwayne Johnson is jumping into his next project. He's set to produce and star in Freebird, about a Las Vegas stuntman who conceals his diagnosis of dementia so he can make one last jump. Greg Cuidar, Oscar nominated for writing Train Dreams and Sing Sing, will write and direct the action drama.
And he's about as crazy as I am about, taking chances in a sense. So
Andy Garcia is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. The actor, filmmaker, and musician will be honored at this year's Imogen Awards for his more than 4 decades of storytelling and commitment to Latino representation. The 41st Imogen Awards take place August 21st in Beverly Hills. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, the Canes get their names engraved on the Stanley Cup.
And Emmy nominations are out. Here's a look at what's trending starting here. Emmy nominations are out right now, and The Pit led with 25 nominations. Hacks received 24, which is a record for a comedy series in its final season. Both shows stream on HBO Max, and the streamer led all outlets with 122 total nominations across its shows.
And Taylor Swift's Eras Tour getting in on the action as well as of course, they just got married.
Yes.
To Travis Kelce. And Bad Bunny also, the halftime show, got a nomination as well.
9.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Great. Well, the Canes' names are on the Stanley Cup. The team's social media account sharing this photo of the cup last night, and the first 2 lines are full of Dundons. Yeah, the owner, Tom Dundons, his wife, 5 children, their names are all engraved on the cup. They're followed by members of the front office and coaching staff and 24 players.
The whole family getting on there. All right, well, in total, there are 53 names engraved on the trophy, and the kid's name is not a common thing, but the Florida Panthers owner did the same thing in 2024 and 25. It just wasn't quite as prominent since the owner doesn't have as many kids.
So there's precedence there.
There is. All right, switching gears here, we have meteorologist Grant Skinner with a look at an updated drought monitor.
Yeah, so I want to show you the latest conditions. This came out about, I would say, 20 minutes or so. And you can see there's worsening conditions across a lot of our area. So although there were small improvements, there's still a worsening drought. And this really exemplifies the fact that we need a lot of rain over a long period of time to really improve our conditions. So one thing to note is the exceptional drought. I know it's dropped by 1%. You see some improvements in our northern spots, but some spots towards Wilmington have been added to an exceptional drought. And the extreme drought is probably the most notable change. It was only a 40% of the entire state under extreme drought over this past week. This week, now it's up to 50%. So now half the state under extreme drought. And you can see that covers the good portion of our area. So a lot of our area is under that extreme drought still. And we need a lot of rain to really improve these conditions. Now, it only goes through 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So it doesn't take into account all the rain we've seen the past few days. You can see there are some spots in Durham County, North Wake County that saw a good dose of rain over the past couple of days. Also down towards Fayetteville. This looks at the past few days to see how much rain those areas have had. So that could show some improvements for those northern spots. But again, it's a lot of rain over a long period of time. And we just don't get a lot of that during the summertime. The storms are so spotty. Like what we'll see today through lunchtime. Very quiet. Just a couple of showers through this afternoon. This is 3:30 and we're mostly quiet. It's not till late in the day today that we see a few more storms pop up. So this is now 9:45 p.m. this evening. You see some isolated storms. Now a few of these downpours could create some isolated higher totals, but I don't think many spots are going to see much rain throughout the day today. Very, very isolated. Then into tomorrow morning, we're mostly quiet. A few clouds, maybe a brief shower, but we should stay mostly dry. The better rain chances arrive this weekend ahead of our next weather maker. It's a cold front that brings scattered showers and some storms, low to mid 90s on Saturday, but then finally cooling into the mid 80s by Sunday. So after a hot start to the weekend, we're up to 98 on Friday. We finally cool off and will be cooler for the start of next week. Highs only reaching the mid 80s for a few days. We're warming up, though, by Wednesday of next week, so it doesn't last a super long time, but we'll take a little bit of relief for the start of next week, especially with how hot it's been. Again, the better rain chances come this weekend after a very hot end of this week.
Okay, Grant, thank you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers, and we will have another check on weather and traffic coming up next.